長く生きた人にはそのあり方を武器にした懲罰能力がある。
Okay then, let's continue.
吸血種に備わった基本的な能力とは別の、その個体が血を飲むことで持ってしまった特別な呪いみたいなものね。ブローブはその域に達している使徒よ。使徒を倒すということはその懲罰能力を破るということ。あの炎を消す手段を獲得しない限り人間に勝ち目はない。だから私がブローブの呪いを壊すまでシキはあいつに近づかないでね。
The plan itself is quite simple. Arcade will stay here and lure Love out. Apparently, vampires can pinpoint each other's location if they don't hide their biological wavelength, or something like that. It seems like Love is hiding his wavelength. I don't know if it's because he doesn't care, or if he simply can do it. Either way, if Love starts to approach us, Arquid will be able to detect him before he gets here. On the other hand, Arquid normally suppresses her wavelength, but she's now openly broadcasting it in order to provoke Love. In other words, it's just like a moth trap. All we have to do is to wait for the moth, Love, to be luring the light, Arquid. After that, the plan is the same as before. I lie in the bushes and keep an eye on the fight from a distance. When Arquid binds Love with her chains, then I'll be my cue. I'll jump out of the shadows and cut his lines. Arquid shows no sign of nervousness. She's just blankly staring at the sky, looking bored. But the same can be said for me. My hand unconsciously grips the knife hidden in my pocket. Our plan isn't foolproof. I'm all too aware of that fact. For starters, there is the possibility that Love will notice my hiding. Although Arquid said that the possibility of this happening is extremely low, in the end, it's still not zero. If that happens, there is no guarantee my safety. There is a risk that I'll end up helplessly burning to death, just like the people in the hotel. But it's okay. That's a risk I'm willing to take. The real problem here is the other possibility. The possibility that Arquid will fail to restrain Love. In other words, if Arquid loses. If that happens, it'll be up to me. I'll be up to this single knife to both stop Love and save Arquid. Can I really go up against that vampire? Against those flames, all by myself? Just thinking of it makes my limbs tremble. I'm gripping my knife so hard and my fingers are starting to hurt. I feel indescribable fear. I myself Don't even know what's causing this feeling.
怖いのシキ。
When I snap out of my thoughts, Arquid is standing right in front of me. She must have noticed that I was trembling. God, I'm so pathetic.
ああ、めちゃくちゃ怖い。あの吸血鬼が近づいてくるかと思うだけで泣きたくなる。
んシキ、泣いてないけど。
必死に我慢してんだよ。わかれ、バカ。
She really is insensitive. I'd be nice if she could understand me, and if it's just a little. Instead, I guess this reaction. I'm not sure what part of what I just said got on her nerves, but it seemed like she's upset.
ところで、私もその吸血鬼なんだけど。
ああ、知ってるよ。何度も聞いた。
だから、吸血鬼である私が怖くないの？今までのあなたの定義からすると、生き物として嫌悪の対象になると思うんだけど。
え？
That's weird. I hadn't noticed it until she pointed it out. She's absolutely right, but...
なんか、お前は別。だって血を吸ったことないんだろ。ならいい。吸血鬼だろうとなんだろうと、俺たちに手を出さないでいてくれるなら、それでいいんだ。
なるほど。そういう考えもありなんだ。
I don't know if she understood or not, but she makes a non-committal sound and drops the topic. The hands of the clock point towards 10. According to Harquid, this is where vampires are most active. All should know that. Vlad will show himself on the surface. I don't know where he is stronghold is, but I'm sure that once he wakes up, he sends Harquid presence and come to us.
正気。
Harquid's tone changes. With a mutter of intense disgust, she glares north, in the direction of the station.
アルクエド。
信じられない。あいつ、本当にその一人なの？
I try to follow Harquid's gaze. Is that smoke? There is a pillar of smoke rising over the horizon. There must be a fire somewhere. No, hold on. A fire?
アルクエド。あれ、まさか。
ブローブよ。無差別に人を襲ってる。正気が欠けているなんて甘かった。あいつは死者と変わらない。血が足りなければ目の前の人間から補充する獣だった。文明社会、この時代の人間のルールをまるで把握していない。
I heard a loud explosion in the distance. The rising smoke continues to blacken the night sky. Shit, this is way worse than what happened at the hotel. He shows up in a crowded downtown area like that, the number of casualties will be orders of magnitude higher.
アルクエイド。
分かってる。急ぎましょう、シキ。
I start running toward the station. What the hell is going on over there? The man wakes up in excruciating pain. His agony is deafening. The same grating sound as grafts of metal being pulverized in a blender. At his unearthly screams, him and his progeny tremble in fear. He thrashes, flees, and lashes out on surroundings, yet the pain does not disappear from his consciousness. The skin of his fingertips has been torn to shreds. Acid oozes from the core of his bones, melting his body from the inside out. Every few minutes, his heart rots away, and each time it regenerates, the pain reappears along with it. As long as he lives, he cannot escape this torture. His only release will be death. But even the salvation was lost long ago. He no longer remembers why he parted away with death, nor when exactly death became so far away. Only agony remains, cold, painful, hot, frightening. His mind is full of nothing but those bestial howls. He recalled that he came to this land in order to chase something, in order to kill. He left his beloved mistress behind in the territory and crossed the vast expanse of the ocean. This is his last chance. He resolved to take everything back, knowing this was it. But what exactly was it that made this his last chance? Was it his mind, his sanity crumbling with each passing day? Was it his body, the ghost within growing with each passing day? Or is this penance for the crimes he committed in the days gone by? He can no longer recall. He has already forgotten so much. But if he came here for the purpose of regaining his sanity, then it is far too late. He lost his mind long ago. He can no longer return to the way he once was. When he crossed the ocean, most of his accumulated fortune was washed away, He can no longer return to his homeland. He has no means to survive other than to claim this ground as his own. It doesn't matter. Nothing that led to this matters. In this moment, all he craves is blood. His throat is freezing, his skin is parched, his soul is starving. He needs warm blood as soon as possible. He wants to bathe in human blood as soon as he can. Such trifling questions as, where am I? And what am I doing? Are drowned out by the desire for blood that burns his heart. He walks through the darkness, marching with the dead in tow. He exits the vertically moving box and crawls onto the sun-drenched ground above. As he does so, the blue flames spread like encroaching water. Not a single creature senses the danger that now dyes the land. Even as the human, shrouded in blue mist, wanders into the crosswalk against the light and is hit by a van. Even as the ghosts that accompany him grab pedestrians by the shoulder, push them to the ground, and the grisly sound of their feasting begin to fill the air. Even as the people raise their voices in shock, none of them give it terror or run away. By the time they realize that this is just someone else's problem, that this bizarre spectacle is bearing down on them as well, they have already lost their chance to escape. The van shall be ran the man over his head split in two upon impact. In less than a minute, the pedestrians who had been pushed down by the ghosts become nothing more than leftovers. The flames had already spread through the area, ruined the legs of the people attempting to flee, reducing them to nothing more than the crawling meals. It is the beginning of the pandemonium. In the midst of it all, a faint sense of reason stirs in his brain. The dazzling light makes him squint. His thoughts, smeared with pain, begin to spin with exceeding discomfort.
なぜこの街はこれほどに明るい。汚物はすべからく隠すもの。ことさらに見せつけるのがこの土地のあり方か。
An abundance of humans lies before his eyes. Normally he would disembowel and drain them dry with joy, but the urge does not spring forth. The man roars. How could one consider this a fertile land, even if repleted is with humans?
人間は多い。血には困ら
A blue flame sweeps over the death. It engulfs the ghouls in the blink of an eye, transforming their body. The blazing dead are driven by fire. Their abilities are elevated, but their bodies will be reduced to ash before long.
だがこの豚たちの血にはそそられない。
His visceral disgust only intensifies his curse. Blue wildfire that burns only the living floods the street. A river of flames that has burned its banks.
「結論として無意味だ。
What an entrance! He crushes the flaming grilled fruit beneath his foot, and accepts the gushing blood shamefully. Ugh. Even it's the equivalent of being bathed in vomit. He must accept it. He curses his own misfortune. He can even move without bathing himself in this filth.
この輝きも繁栄も俺には無意味だ。
He continues his march, bringing the burning and the crumbled corpse along with him. He cannot remember his ultimate goal. But until he can, there is only one thing left for him to do. He comes to the realization that his endeavor was worthwhile after all. He mockingly called for the humans to die in agonizing death. This corpulent city deserves a disgraceful end. This city is a frenzied panic. I ran through the crowded streets. Even from here, I could see the fire coming from the front of the station. The screen outside broadcast the breaking news on repeat. A fire has broken out on the north side of Soja station. The trains have been suspended, and the people who were visiting the downtown area are frantically running for their lives. A news anchor covering the emergency is on the screen. It's an interview with an high school girl who had just escaped from the fire.
暑いのね。なんでこんな暑いの。パパが友達が止められて、私の腕もなんか。死んだのに動いているの。燃えてるのに笑ってるの。
Her words were treated as shock-inducing delusions. The fire is only continuing to spread, and we have reached the point where nearby residents have been advised to evacuate. Despite that, the main street is overflowing with people. Having coming all the way here to set their curiosity, they now stand on the fringes of observing, filming, and rely on the situation to their closest friends. The road to the station has already been blocked off. Is this a fire break? Even if it is, they got it off way too quickly. Besides, there are too many people around. It's almost like they're blocking off the exits, making sure nothing can escape.
くそ
Either way, we can get it through.
四季こっち。
She vigorously pulls my hand. Without waiting for an answer, I quickly slip away through the crowd of people, dragging me along behind her.
ちょ
Again
待て
this
ってば
place.
こんなところに来てどうするんだ
I shake my hand free. Harkui turns and examines the wall of the buildings.
これならいけそう。二人で飛ぶのは初めてだけど、この高さなら問題ないはず。
は
Henshin? She moves swiftly and decisively. First she grabs my shoulder like she is about to pin me in judo, and then...
上まで飛ぶわ。しっかり捕まってなさい、四季。
And then, she says something completely insane.
うわうわうわ
That's pretty cool. She's flying. No, she's jumping. Before I even had time to blink, Harkui bounded from wall to wall up to the face of the opposite buildings, and now she's higher than the rooftops. No, higher than the clouds. Of course, she did all of this while holding on to me.
まおばうわ
We are so high. This is terrifying. How high are we right now? We're above that building. He had to be like 40 meters tall. A 20-meter drop tower right will make my heart beat out of my chest. But this? Where the hell am I supposed to put my feet?
四季、黙ってないと下噛んじゃうよ。
Tilting her head in confusion at my screams, Harkui ramps out the brutal pace even further. We leap from roof to roof, building to building, like a rabbit hopping to the surface of the moon.
うわうわうわ
I endured this surreal experience with gritted teeth. Just as I started to enjoy it, Harkui finally stopped leaping. We are now on the roof of the skyscraper overlooking the city. We landed in a hanging garden, one that was not originally designed for a human to enter.
無茶を。
The Hanging Garden of Babylon. All of the sudden ups and downs have played havoc with my breathing. My chest hurts. The wild swing in my blood pressure are doing a number on my heart. Even though we are high enough for the atmosphere to get thinner, my entire body is frozen up for almost the start shocks to my system.
見て、あそこよ。
見ろって、何。
I don't even manage to finish the sentence. In an instant, I forget all about the pain caused by elevator heart rate. Elevated. It's on fire. The city I live in, with all its familiar building, is being consumed by the sea of flames. I now see the full extent of the horror. The main street is wrapped in a red veil. Little by little, the fire continues to burn away the buildings' silhouettes, as if beating them down with a blade. This really is a literal river of flame. Within it is a man ceaselessly devouring. He bathes himself in the crimson rain, slacking his thirst. There are several people in front of the man. They are the police officers who were setting up the barricade. The officer raised their pistol and fired in unison. But the man doesn't even flinch. He probably doesn't even notice they're there. More figures appear from behind the monster, from behind Vlov. Burning corpses. They were probably living, breathing human until just a few moments ago. Now, they're nothing more than reanimated cadavers. As if they were begging for help. The corpses moved towards the firing officers. Emotionless work leaks from the throat. I don't even have the chance to look away. The sense of duty, the urgency I feel while running toward the city has been swept away. Right now, the only thing left in my mind is pure fear. That is a vampire's true nature. A being whose mere existence brings death. And that is an enemy we must now defeat.
いないわね、教会の連中。ここまで見境なしならそろそろやってくるはずだけど、やっぱりこの国には赴任していない。でもその割にはきっちり交通規制はしているし、ここの大公社、実践派じゃなくて制服組なのかしら。
Unlike me, Harquid is looking at the river of fire. Instead, she focusing her attention on something completely different.
さあ、どうしようか、シキ。 見ての通りブローブはあの状態よ。私を探し出そうとする理性すらなかったただの殺戮者。あのまま放っておけばあいつは血を消耗して弱体化する。
That will be for the best.
ブローブの存在規模から言ってこの町は燃え尽きるだろうけど、その後なら私一人でも倒せるわ。楽をして傍観をする？それとも
She's asking if I'm willing to put my life on the line to save others. Although she already knows what I'm about to say, her could ask me to confirm it one last time. And so, with all the determination I can muster, I glare at her, my body shuddering.
方針に変更なしなのね。これを見ても気が変わらないなんて、あなたもブローブのことは言えないかも。でもどうするの？私はこのまま始めても構わないけど。
Wait, what does she mean? If she says she can relocate, then she can transform the battlefield somehow?
なんとかできるのか、あの状況。
うまくいけば私も人目につくのは避けたいし。
頼む、今すぐあいつを叩き出してくれ。
了解。ならあいつごとそこに落とすわ。あの下なんか空洞みたいだし。
Probably where the hideout was. Wait, underground? What does she mean? Drop. No, there's no time to be asking questions. Right now, we need to get them off the street as fast as possible.
でも約束は忘れないで。ちゃんと後からついてきてね。
My mind just can't keep up with all these surprises happening one after another. What the hell? Like a falling angel, leaving me behind, Harquid leaps off from the rooftops and into the void. She's like a wet flower dancing in the wind. Yeah, now it's time for more poetry. An air current catches her body and she throws herself from the rooftop. The chains of gravity release. The grounding ankles are raised. And instead of falling, she gently rises instead. Like a sailing ship catching the wind, she gambles through the night sky. This is no cause for surprise. She's an avatar of the planet, but this green child and its mirror. All the fluctuations that occur on its surface belong to her. The blessing of nature, the nurturer of life. The wrath of nature, the destroyer of life. Such are the natural rights possessed by their body.
よーし、
A beautiful flower twirls around, as if to gaze up the moon. She turns her attention from the cosmos to the ground. The unraveled chains and the ice anchor strikes the surface of the earth. Below is a tall building, scattering sparks of fire.
せーの
The blossom in the night sky transforms into a falling star. The flower of the moon transforms itself into a tempest, blowing away the blazing flames. She was like a human missile. Arcui dropped on top of love from a height of 8 meters. Actually, it was more like she flew. While in the air, she took aim at the angle herself, before accelerating like a missile. Earth and the breeze below upon into the air. The wind whips up a cloud of dust that scorches the area. The river of flames that have been flowing through the downtown area resulted in struck by the single blow. It blows away the policemen that have been surrounding Vlov, incapacitating most of them in the process. Half of them are struck in the head and knocking unconscious, and the rest simply lose their will to fight. I can't blame them. Especially after the dust has cleared, I can see the full extent of the destruction. Arquid's rapid descent completely shattered the ground around Vlov and caused a corner to the plaza north of the station, a significant chunk of the downtown area to sink underground. So this is what she meant by dropping them underground. The land had sunk over 40 meters. It felt like watching an incredible force of nature. Its grandeur is on the same level as the Amazon jungle on Niagara Falls.
少しは加減しろあのバカ
Of course, I'm not praising her in the slightest.
あーでもすごいなクソ偶然かそれとも計算か
As far as I can tell from the rooftop, there aren't any fatalities. The policemen who were outside the blast radius have tended to the knocked officer and withdraw from the site of impact. As a result, the entire area is now completely deserted. This is the method of clearing people on the way up to over the top. Were those flowers flaming just now? I don't know if Arquid missed it or if Love somehow managed to dodge, but either way, he's still alive. Even after that attack, the monster refuses to go down. As if hunting him down, a white shadow challenged the originator of the flames in the cloud of dust. You will better catch up after me. Arcade words surface in my mind. I'll have time to think later. Right now, I need to hurry down to ground level. I ran over the stairs. I cut the lock on the door to the rooftop with my knife. I dashed down the stair, relying on the emergency lights. My resolve, like my breathing, becomes more and more ragged as I go. All I have to do is cut through Love's lines. First, Arquid will fight him and then restrain with their chains. After that, it will be my turn. I'll sprint up to him, cut his lines, and dismantle his body. Arquid's descent back there was extraordinary. I guess her confidence was warranted when she said she could pin Love down. However,
だけどそれでも
even so, Love is still standing strong. Does Arquid's previous evaluation still hold? If she happened to be wrong, there is also the fact that she's been handicapped by her wound. In the worst case scenario, I will have to fight Love alone. No, that won't happen. We didn't make any plan for the worst case scenario. It's not like we didn't consider it. There is just nothing to be done. If Love defeats Arquid, the only choice I will have left will be to run away. I finally reached the elevator. I rushed inside and pressed the button for the first floor. There is no more time for hesitation. There was never any time to hesitate in the first place. I take a deep breath. I give my body a once-over. It seems to be working in order for now. Only the fingers gripping my knife refuse to move. It's like they aren't even part of my own body. Is this fear I feel? I'm afraid to face that monster. If that's what it is, then there is no problem. It's only natural that a human being will be afraid of that thing. Afraid of confronting a being that you can even approach without coming face to face with death. Could you really call yourself human if you aren't afraid of that? That's why, if there were a problem, it would be if. I feel more afraid of killing than of being killed. My breathing speeds up. My heart is pounding restlessly, like it is detached from my body entirely. I arrive at the first floor. Adjusting my grip on the knife, I ran toward the newly formed crater. As I leave the building, I find that the area of the me has been reduced to rumble. I crash down and advance, stopping just short of the rim of the crater. The new crater is 40 meters deep. This area used to be a park, but there is no trace of it anymore. The rumble forms a slope leading down to the foot of the pit. Although it would be impossible to climb up from the bottom, descending should be possible even with legs like mine. With that said, okay. Two sound reasonable, one sounds suicidal, so... Location of the enemy scare. Down in the pit stands Vlov, who I come to defeat. Along with the Arquid, who I promised to fight alongside. The battle between them has already begun. That's okay. My role here isn't to fight, it's to finish the job. As soon as Arquid gets a hold of Love, I'll come in and sever his lines. And in order to do that,
そうだ、おじけついてる場合か。
I slammed onto the slope, a rubble and descend into the crater. I immediately cover my nose and mouth with my hand. I don't do it on purpose, it's a defensive reflex to protect my own life. I can't breathe. There is still oxygen down here. These blue flames are like a curse. There is no actual matter combusting, but much was established at the hotel. If I breathe normally, the hot air will burn my lungs to crisp. Ahead of me, I can see one guy in white and another in a black cloak. Sword clashing with cloak. Even in this heat, Arquid is lying into love with an unrelenting offense. As far as I can tell, Arquid has the upper hand. Or so you think? If things continue to go according to plan, she'll be able to tie Blood down. There is just one problem. I'm not sure how long my body is going to last. My body is already starting to burn. But strangely, I don't feel any pain. I don't need to breathe to know what's going on. With a knife in my hand, I continue to wait for my chance to defeat Vlad. Like a sprinter waiting for the starting gun. Where a ghost will never move again. I'll keep waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Even as my eyeballs dry up, smolder, enter to ashes. I wait. The moment will never come. Just as I never come to realize that I've become little more than burned to a film. Good job, Shiichi. I can't go down there yet. The floor of the pit is completely covered in blue flames. A tall vampire sits at the center. Love Archangel. He was right at the center of the explosion, but there is not a scratch on him. By human standards, he's practically an immortal monster. And across from him, there stands a figure in white, toying with him as she attacks head-on. A beautiful huntress, darting through the garden of flickering flames and debris. Naturally, the figure is Arcade. She leaps across the river of fire and crosses on blood. He has a crude yet deadly weapon gripped in his hand. At first glance it looks like a longsword, but the blade is that of a machete. Arcade, on the other hand, is fighting empty-handed. Racing across the crater on foot, she closes in on Vlad. In a few battered claws, she trades blows with Vlad's machete, forcing the tall figure to retreat. There is a single gash on his arm, one so deep you can see straight through to his bone. But it's only there for an instant. The arm slices open by Arcade claws is healed by the very blood that pours out from it. Arcade had told me that so long as a vampire has blood, they are immortal and possess an abundance of life force. It looks like she wasn't lying. In the blink of an eye, the wound that would have killed a normal creature had disappeared as thought if it were never there. Love's massive weapon does stand still forever in a moment. Arco is being careful to keep her distance. After each strike, she moves out of his range and prepares for her next attack. Is she just being cautious of Love's counterattacks? No, that's not it. The look on her face. Is she enjoying cornering him?
死ににくいだけがあなたの取り柄なの？27層も質が落ちたものね。このまま奥の手も見せないで私に殺される？
Bluff's breathing has become erratic. His sleekly pale face is etched with pain and anguish. Bluff is most definitely immortal. But even at his limits, he may seem unarmed, but there is no doubt that Arquid dives bombing dealt him a fatal wound. He probably took all he had just to regenerate his body. It's the same as when I killed Arquid. He sent to raise him, then he squandered the bulk of his energy reviving himself. In fact, Arquid seemed to have come to the same conclusion. That's why she's falling back after every attack. She's inviting Bluff to perform one final attack, a counter-attack with all his might. Counter crashing sound echoed through the air. Bluff's breathing grows even more frantic. I feel an indescribable sense of unease. Arquid has the upper hand. It's clear that Bluff is being worn down. And yet, as a bystander, I feel a growing sense of dread in my chest. The dread stems from the fact that Bluff is taking far fewer hits from Arquid's claw than he has a little while ago. His workmanship, well, I guess machetmanship, is also much more formidable than one would expect given his appearance. On top of that, it's clear that he's already able to see right through Arquid's speed and movements, but most importantly of all, he still able to use his hand of flame. Bluff lets out a roar. With his bellow of rage, the inferno intensifies. The apocalyptic flames reach height of several meters. The river of fire splits into dozens of streams. The pit has turned into an underground colosseum filled with a forest of fire. The walls of flame block Arquid's escape, and with the stage set, a hand of unparalleled heat is unleashed towards Arquid, melting the rumble in its path. In that instant, the tide of battle is completely reversed. Arquid said that she could withstand temperature up to 3000 Celsius. However, the hand that melted the rumble with ease has a temperature well over that. Three more of those hands piled down on her. Not even ashes will remain of this raid. There is no escape from the tormenting tongue of flame as he licks his prey clean. The white figures burn away without a trace. At least, That's what would have occurred if this had happened last night. Really, she has an engine. The flames are torn apart. A white skirt flutters in the wind. And raptures, I am unable to tear my eyes away from her transformation. She mentioned something earlier. Something about having a countermeasure and rebuilding her body in advance. Blood's flame seems to be nothing to her in that black and white combat outfit. In the dress observing the flames, was she herself impervious to them now that she's rebuilt her body? Either way, the flames can't touch her anymore. Her quick countermeasure is flawless. Her victory was decided the moment she identified her opponent as a master of flames back at the hotel. A hand of flame is unleashed. Arquid casually thrusts her at left hand. With a casual flick over through her wrist, as thoughts simply combing her hair, she disappears at towering walls of the flame that's surrounding her. The wall of flames powder her hands, submit into the white dress. Her golden hair whips about like a shower of shooting stars. Her claws flying through the air, her rains down on blood, with power unlike anything I've never seen before. As he helplessly retreats, her claw strikes a second time, then a third. The difference instead is night and day. There is no longer a battle. As soon as the flames were neutralized, Love became mere prey to be hunted. Arquid's cloud continued to unravelingly inflict accurate, mortal wounds into Love's flesh. Love is probably only still standing because he has some blood remaining. But even that is going to run out at some point. Unfortunately for him, there aren't any humans around to extract resources from. The only blood he has left is that which flows within his own body. And that won't last more than a few more blows. In other words, he's bankrupt. Without the energy to revive, he returned back to his rightful state as a corpse. He's openly begging for his life, just like a child throwing a tantrum. His mastery of the machete is also lost. He swings his up absurdly, as if to dispel her fearful sight in front of him, but Arquid is no longer going to let such a clumsy opening pass by. Screaming, the vampire sleeps. Mustering the last of his blood, Flav jumps backward. No, upwards. He jumped from the floor of the pit towards the surface. Even high of 40 meters is enough to stop a vampire. He's probably planning to replenish his blood supply only at the surface. Green ivy twists around his legs. The ivy sprouts from beneath the rumble at a terrifying speed, grabs Blov's feet and pulls him back to the earth. A river of flame appears once again at Blov's feet. Engulfed by a fire that burns only life, the green ivy is reduced to ash. However, his shackles do not vanish. New ivy, fertilized by the ashes, entwines itself around him. No matter how many times he burns it away, he cannot break free. Like a phoenix, he returns again and again. Yes, if vampires can be considered immortal, then to do the workings of nature from an eternal, endless cycle. The ivy is a manifestation of that. He cannot escape it without a fire capable of burning down the planet itself. For Blob, to a hairy vampire with a curse his size, snuffing out Arco's breath is something that is simply impossible. Arco breaks into a run. From the intensify over stance, I can tell that this is the finishing blow. All of Law's counter attacks have been thwarted. She decided now is the time to end it all. I am in complete agreement. She doesn't need to wait for my assistance. If this goes on, she'll crush him to pieces. And yet, I can't help but feel apprehensive. Something is wrong. His agony and his breathing both entreat me to notice what was amiss. Fluff compassion and anguish had become even more ghoulish. Within the scorching heat, he is easy in his own separate world. His breath is white, as the world that he exists is in its polar opposite of ours. I know those eyes. This is for both fight and flight. He's simultaneously both the perpetrator and the victim. That's why we are definitely making a fatal error.
バカ、何考えてんだ、俺は。
Harkwy's victory is inevitable. There's no way I will interfere at a time like this. I don't have to do anything. There is no need for me to go out of my way and enter that hellscape. As we always do, we always make first the worst choice. Or at least what I consider worst, so... I have no choice but to simply watch. I feel nausea slowly welling up in my throat. Indescribable chill crawls in the way down my spine. I won't be able to make in time from here anyway. The only thing I can do now, the only thing I should do, is calmly watch the battle unfold. His chest is pierced. A great deal of blood is spilled. The plug that holds his blood has been removed. The infernal delusion come to an end. The final boundary is crossed. And then, with an earth-rending scream, the vampire's true form is revealed. The atmosphere creaks. The frenetic dance of atoms is abruptly brought to a crawl. Electrons, repelled by the solidified rift of near absolute zero temperatures and nowhere to go, and start to react. The flames that blanket the ground were not flames at all. Similar to the enthalpy of evaporization, they were more like heat that had been lost from the heart itself.
本当に
A cold-blooded arm hung in the air. The palm of his hand is outstretched, as if groping for warmth.
ここは寒い
The white beauty in front of him is swallowed completely. This isn't just a drop in temperature, as if the world itself suddenly changed without warning. The river of ice that sprung forth from love didn't just blow away Arcade, it kept extending all the way to the city behind her, and to us. It can haven't taken more than 2 seconds. The glacier reached the building on the surface, and they froze everything in an instant. What if there were still people in those buildings, haven't they evacuated? Any work they might have had has been snatched away, including yours, Tsukihime. My body tramps on the unbelievable scene in front of me. I'm terrified at the prospect of what might happen next. It's only by chance that I'm still alive. If I hadn't been behind Arcade, I would have been frozen where I stood. The spandy river of flame was a slow-moving disaster. People were able to run away faster than the fire was able to spread. But the glacier melted us in an instant. Its range is narrow, and the billowing cold only crawls along the ground. But once it's released, there will be no hope of escaping it. the guy managed to get above the ground, anyone they come face to face with him will have no choice but to lay down and die.
アルクエイド。そうだ、アルクエイド。
I hang on to my one and only hope. She's the only one who can stop that monster.
いた。
In the middle of Ice River stands the figure of Arcuid. Thank goodness, but also, goddamn, she's just as fat as he is. She's standing amidst the Frigidaire without a scratch on her.
そういうこと。あなたは正気がないんじゃなくて、正気から逃げていたのね。三流の使徒であり、原理を持つ以上は星を打倒し得る。おかげで目が覚めたわ、ブローブ・アルハンゲル。
Look at the brushes of the glacier. Blob stares at her with cold eyes. No, with sickly eyes from before, or with eyes that carefully observe the prey, like a hunter in a snowfield.
目を覚ましたのはこちらの話だ。よくも俺からここまで熱を奪ってくれた。
His voice like a blade, his word dripping with hatred. The vampire's fighting spirit has not faded, but the opposite. It's like he's the only one decided to fight in earnest.
そう。なら、己の幸運を感じなさい、ブローブ。本来なら目を覚ます前に終わらせていたわ。あなたを救ったのは憎たらしい殺人鬼よ。まあ、それも今一時の話だけど。
She had to rob it us every chance he get.
確かに。伝え聞いた貴様の姿と今の貴様はかけ離れている。どうやらここ一番で俺は幸運を拾ったか。
忌々しいけどそういうことよ。お互い最後の一撃を残しているだけの低たらく。どちらかが仕掛ければどちらかが消えるだけ。その前に最低限の礼は取ってあげる。答えよ、賠償家畜の我が霊則。その証、根の病巣、大臼のごときその穴蔵。新たな原理をはらんだ種よ。貴様にとって血とは何よ。
It's a stern voice, janglingly out of place in the current situation. Arcuid's question could almost be taken as a reprimand. After opening his eyes wide in surprise, Love replies,
慎んで答えよう。俺にとって血液とは断そのもの。生命の熱さ、我が凍傷を癒す霊薬、我が世界、我が原理を回すもの。しかり血液がなければ俺はこの寒さに凍りつく。
He revealed his own true self, with a voice that could be construed as almost respectful.
思い出した。人間を嫌い、恐れ、避けようと絶海を漂流し、城を構えた変わり者。27祖の一人、ゼリア・アッヘンバウム。1000年を超える原理を持ちながら子を作らずに領地を治めていたと聞いたけど、そう、つまり殺して奪ったのね。
そうだ。俺は後継者ではない。ただの騎士だ。騎士だった。永遠など俺には手に余るものだ。
The vampire turned his right hand towards his own shadow. From the long, unnaturally long shadow that stretches before him, emerged the hulking from an outlandish weapon.
だが、ご当主にとってもそれはより不相応だ。故に奪った。騎士として王を倒し、その王座を簒奪した。今やこの原理は俺だけのものになった。
そう、短い王位だったわね。
強気だな。空想具現化もできぬほど弱っている。俺と正面から打ち合うと。
So, in the Fate series, the special weapon of all the heroes are called, how they were called, Noble Phantom, Noble Phantasm. And now here we have the Marble Phantasm. So I guess is the special weapon of her. So he brought his special weapon.
いらない。たかだか死と相手に世界と同化する必要もない。あなた程度、この爪だけで十分よ。
Yeah, they're weapons. So a marble phantasm. The edge of the vampire's mouth twists upward. His refined face warps into that of an ugly beast. It's a stuff she's grinning in agreement with Ark with provocation.
最も強き者とは先辺にして偏らぬ。貴様はまさにそれだ。そこまで衰退していながらまだ俺を上回る余力がある。あらゆる呪い、あらゆる状況に対応する原初の位置。波の使徒ではかなわない。
The air distorts. The flames born from second faults begin to drop the temperature in the crater. Harvey doesn't hesitate. She charges Vlad head-on, despite knowing that his strange weapon has the potential to defeat her. And then...
だが貴様は知るまい。かの領土はこの星の一部でありながら、生きるにあたわずと除外された生命権。いかに神祖の姫であろうと、この地獄に耐えきれるか。
A wave of cold air billows out around Vlad. Billows. Arquid comes to a sudden halt and sticks her hands out in a protective gesture. The wind blows fiercely, and with a piercing howl, envelops the city in absolute zero. And then... Oof. A huge lance of unworldly steel pulverized her pure white dress. The bleeds are block my sight. The breath comes out white. Arquid blows dozens of meters back and collapses on top of the wreckage. The dress had been repelling the flame is shattered. She reverts to her former self.
怪物め、俺の槍を受けて原型をとどめているか。だが
Arquid stays down, showing no sign of waking. Without moving from where he stands, Love held up his right hand as if to sign something. The rubble around his crumbles. Several corpses crawl out from the underground, groaning.
この狩りはもはや俺のものだ。女の死体を拾ってこい。その順応性、あらゆる苦しみを上回る万能の血をこの手に。
At Bluff's command, the corpses begin to close in on Arquid. The winner has been decided. Our strategy has failed. Vlad cannot be sealed by those chains anymore. Arquid has been defeated, and the city engulfed by a billowing cold. Everything around me has been annihilated. Standing at the foot of the stage, watch the final act unfold. Sorry. The cold air pierces my skin. My body temperature starts to plummet. The cold is so intense that is too difficult just to survive. My brain creaks as if being squeezed by my skull. My heart already fit to burst, rip clean in two when I imagine what's going to happen next 2 minutes. Corpses swarm towards Arcade. A midsummer parade set in the heart of winter. Like ants gathering sugar under the blazing sun. They are going to kill Arcade. Their corpses are here to tear her limbs from limb, just as I did, and offer up her dismembered body. All while I watch from a safe distance. Just like that. Just like that.
無理だ。
That thing is just a disaster in human form. Chasing after him was a mistake. It was beyond arrogant of me to think that I could defeat him. Stopping him from killing anyone else? Resolving the situation with any more casualties? How the hell did I think I could do that? I should have just looked in the other way. I should have confronted that monster. As with that typhoon, there is no option but to let it pass. If I had done that, then the city may have only ended up being burned to the ground.
でも無理だ。
She, who could do nothing. Me, who chose to do nothing. She, who wasn't even armed. Me, who carried a weapon. Common sense and rationality right within my pressurized brain. My conscience then looks up to my rear, telling me to run. And why should I listen? There is nothing I can do. What I could ever hope to do against an opponent like that? Arcade. From here on, I'm totally out of my depth. Arcade. I should just run away. Just look away. Any decent human would. Arcade will be killed. I turn to the sky. Everything I look, I see frozen buildings. All those people wipe out in an instant. I doubt they even had time to scream. I think back on what happened at the hotel last night. On the screams of the people there who were also killed for no reason. I see her fallen figure. The corpse draws slowly as they draw near the woman. The river of ice continues to expand. True, the vampire continues to observe the death of the city with indifference.
間違いない。
My skull cracks. Despite the freezing condition, my head pumps blood ferociously. What that means, in other words,
俺には無理だ。
is Is that all of the fear running down my spine is transformed into anger? I'm defective, a laughing stock, far too immature as a human. After all, not a single atom in my body can tolerate just standing back and watching. The hero moment. I take off my glasses. I cover my mouth with my left hand, desperately trying to surpass my shivering and prevent any more warmth from escaping. 1, no, 3 minutes. I firmly etched this time constrained into my mind. I'm not worried about losing my nerve. 3 minutes is simply the longest as a human can survive down in that speed.
くさくさくさくさ。何やってんだ俺は。
I berate myself as I descend the slope. This is ridiculous. I'm being foolish. I really am an idiot. Running away because you don't want to die? That's backwards. If you want to survive, you need to do the opposite. Then things cannot be tolerated. It cannot be allowed to go unchecked. Running away will undoubtedly lead to death, not only for myself, but for the entire city. In which case, it's obvious what I must do. If you don't want to die, then kill. Run for the sake of survival. Kill it right here, right now, without waiting even a second. I'm pretty much run out of patience at this point. It has no qualms killing and stealing to survive. As a different organism, I cannot allow him to reside in the same place of existence. Whatever it may be, if it is alive, then it's my prey. If it's alive, then it's my prey. I'll put an end to his existence right here, roots and all. I ran towards the arcade. The corpses tried to sink their teeth into her body. The question yet earlier or whatever could kill them or not crossed my mind. Can I kill something that looks like a person, regardless of whatever or not is really human? Whoever cares. All I know right now is that my head hurts. This is the first time I've looked with bare hands for so long. The first time I've acted so objectively. As I look down on the lines of death in a frenzy, I memorize the image of the corpse I must kill. Don't touch her. You are an eyesore. The dead should not eat the living. Besides, the only creature that is allowed to prey on her is me. I cut the lines of 3 corpses. The knife slides through them like a hot knife through butter. They each split into thirds and die. Too easy. Their attention was focused on Arcade. After all, shows what you get for being careless.
起きろ！いつまで寝てやがる！
I don't need to make it all the way to Arcade. A call out where as I kill the fourth corpse. Arcade weakly open her eyes. Looks like my shouting managed to wake her up.
なんでここにいるの？ダメ、逃げて。
As Arcade begins to sit up, her face contorts as she doubles over. She regained consciousness. She's still alive, but her wounds have yet to heal. She can't move from the spot yet. She's the one who should be running away, not me. But unfortunately, I cannot allow her that luxury.
よし、元気だな。ならいい。できるなら援護してくれ。
援護ってあなた一人でやる気？っていうか正気？
正気でこんな真似できるか？いいか、俺にとってここは海の底だ。3分しか時間はない。だからその間に今度こそ俺とお前で奴を殺して終わらせる。
I leave Arcade behind and run. I adjust my grip on the knife and estimate the distance between me and Bluff. It's about 40 meters. 6 seconds until contact. He still hasn't seen me yet. 3 seconds. No time to play it safe. I finish off with one blow. Being down is already started to taking a toll on my body. I had 3 minutes total before my body and consciousness shut down to the low temperature. One of those minutes already elapsed. That leaves plenty of time. I can already see them. The line was that they will kill this monster. The man finally reacts. Turning to face me, he moves to intercept me with the air of someone brushing off an insect. The giant lance is curved arcade with is nowhere to be seen. Of course it isn't. He'd be in trouble if he still had it. In Bluff's eye, I'm no different from the corpses. He treats me as an incompetent thing that only protects Arcade. A worthless existence, just like all the other frail humans he crushed underfoot before. That's why I have a chance. The only thing I can do is take him by surprise. He's already seen me. I can attack, and yet I can still take him by surprise. He doesn't know about my eyes. He hasn't even considered that a mere human might have the means to kill an immortal vampire with a single blow. Two seconds left. I have to risk crossing the boundary between life and death, but I only have to do it once. I have to focus all of my attention on dodging his first move. If I can just make it through that gamble, then all I have to do is to cut the line. At the very last second, right at the moment we were about to cross the sword, we both jumped back simultaneously. We never even came within striking distance of each other. There are two reasons. For one, I made a mistake. I can get close to his chest. His focal point, around which his billowing cold is whirling. The closer I get, the more sluggish my body becomes. Even if at running speed, the moment I'm within 2 meters of him, I will lose consciousness, unable to take another step. Getting enraged is absolutely critical for a surprise attack. But doing so simply is impossible against love. But that's okay. As a matter of fact, I had already taken that possibility in consideration. However, there is another problem. The one is far more deadly. The headache caused by exposed eye blends with my own rage. I don't believe this. All of these things that could happen, this bastard managed to see through me. It must have been this intuition. The awareness of that surpassed that of a beast. Despite having no reason to think so, the guy suddenly realized that the enemy has means to kill him, and was afraid. Having recognized me as a threat, he leaps away without even a second hesitation.
なぜ俺が引いた?
I only managed to jump back about 2 meters. But his retreat was extraordinary. He flew back over 30 meters. I guess that must be the minimum safe distance for a vampire. I can help but laugh at the staggering difference in specs between the two of us.
なんだ? お前はなんだ?
That should be my line. This is the worst possible situation. I'm not going to be able to get in close again. I've been forced to accept I can defeat him. I sense that I have a way to kill him. It's clear how things will go from here.
いい、近寄るな。お前はそこで死んでいろ。
I'll be one-sided slaughtered from afar. A block of ice flies through the air. The eye forms a spear, a missile far from a blow my brains out. Shall I avoid it, or take it head on? Do I continue to hide my hand, or do I cast away my only weapon? I made my decision subconsciously. Heady clamps his jaw around my brain, blocking out everything else around me. I focused my gaze on that deadly weapon. If those lines represent the depth of existence, then I kill the form, the inertia, the sub-zero, bounce and hold the spear together right before it reaches me. Death grazes my temple. I swing my knife to meet a soaring icicle. Man is but a wild beast. We have possessed the power to track objects in flight since time immemorial. So long as my body remains able to move freely, a weapon like this poses no more threat than a giant pebble. However, with this, I have destroyed all hope of a frontal surprise attack. The man's eye speaks to me. They tell me that he saw it. That he doesn't care about the logical reason behind it. There is no way in hell he is going to let me get close to him again. With that, I have lost my path to victory. Was this really the right time to reveal the ace up on my sleeve? Of course it wasn't. But my back was up against the wall. I have no choice but to show my hand if I wanted to survive. And now that I have, I need to hunt as hard as I can for any advantage it may have brought me. I cut it down with a little wasted movement as possible. And if I don't have a way too close to him, I still will need to conserve my energy wherever possible. 2 minutes left until I reach my limit. The excitement drives away my fear. My view of life and death is reversed by desperate struggles to survive.
奇跡の類ではない。しかし常識でもない。俺の渇きを水のように通すとはどういう理屈だ。
There is a small gap in the icy barrier. The man concentrated the billowing cold flooding out of himself on a single point, creating a vortex of even more frigid temperature.
死がただ死ね。あまり俺の胸を躍らせるな。
Chunks of ice shot towards me as fog blending down a zip line, cutting through the frozen atmosphere. I slice through the assassin bullets. As long as I'm standing in front of the arcade, I have no choice but to stop the object they are being fired in our direction. At this range, it takes 1.5 seconds for the ice spears to reach me. I can keep up this for as long as my body can keep moving. In the meantime, I think of what I can do. Blob hasn't taken a single step. Why is he moving? If he's deemed me a threat, there's no reason to go all out. But he isn't, which means there must be a reason why. I wager it's not because his projectile means he doesn't need to move, but rather that he can move the state he is in. Harquid had him on the back foot, and is burned through all the blood and fools him. This cold air must be the final self-defense mechanism of a monster of the verge of death. This is complete speculation, but my logic feels sound. Now that he's unable to move, he's protecting himself by deploying this curse in all directions. It doesn't matter whatever the curse is hot or cold. Either way, any living thing that gets close to it will die. If you got within 10 meters of him, you will freeze to death in just 2 seconds. At this rate, I will eventually fall as well. It's just like how a human stranded in a snow-capped mountain eventually just succumb to sleep. When human body temperature is below 34 Celsius or above 43, their brain cells shut down and they lose consciousness. Instead of focusing on blood, I swear the battlefield as a whole. My body wields my knife subconsciously, reacting as soon as something enters my field of view without disrupting my thoughts. As I reflect, I revise the conjecture I had made earlier. The billowing cold spreads out around him in all directions. But its intensity really has a uniform as I previously thought. The fact that its cold is close to the floor means that its temperature is inconsistent. Whatever is strong or weak, as a whole is still up for debate. At the very least, I suggest it doesn't have imperfections. It might be protected from every direction, but it doesn't make him vulnerable from all of them.
死の淵で主を守るか。勇ましいが限界だ。
He draws the long lance he used to strike down Harquid out of the shadow once more. Rapid was just warming up before, because behind him, a great tree of ice sprout branches. I put my thoughts on hold and dedicate all my attention to intercepting this attack. This is impossible. I can stop them all. You're just adopting the strategy of Gilgamesh. At least one of them is bound to hit me. Like if you have plenty, just throw them all them out. No, I give in into that kind of thinking. If it starts bleeding, it's game over. The freezing air won't weigh so much having a minute to take my life. So I have to kill. I have to fight back. I cleaned my mind and tune out everything by vision, other than the lines. Total number of red deployed, 26. I continue to stare at their formation as I decide which to take out first and which to avoid. In the gap between the projectiles, I catch a glimpse of it. The locus of death that transcend the lines. The point must be a focality of that that gives birth to the lines. The volume of that is bearing down on me. I saw it, but certainly the same point I saw before. We'll take a pause. Just to recover my throat, my vocal cord. See you in a bit.